Hi, this is Kim White with the My Sexy Business team. I am here at the Collaboration Summit, session number 3. I have with me one of my favorite people on the entire planet who, I will just warn you up front, this session will not be for the faint of heart, because anyone who is around this girl will either buck up and do what they're supposed to or be like out, because she does not play. Christie Garcia of Sparkle Your Biz, welcome to the Collaboration Summit.
Oh my goodness, how do I even live up to that intro? Oh, Princess Kim, oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And I am so thrilled to be here.
Well, I'm going to tell on you just because I can. And you never know what I'm going to say. So you always like come with exactly. You have been part of the Collaboration Challenge, part of the Collaboration class. You are now a graduate of Collaboration 101. And I think that you are one of the finest examples of quit talking and get stuff done on the planet, because, and I'm going to give you like a personal story here, but it is so funny to me. I was talking about juicing of all things. And this is like for health, I don't have anything wrong, so nobody has that idea, but I just wanted to juice and to be healthier. And, I'm 51, blah, blah, blah. I tell Christy, okay, I'm going to start juicing, but I'm going to start on Monday. So that way, that was like 3 or 4 days away. So that way I have time to leisurely go to the grocery store and get my stuff and do my juicing. She said, what about tonight? And I'm like, well, I have this plan though that so I just want to demonstrate in my own accountability with her that she does not play. If you want to accomplish major things in your business and in your life, there's no play involved. Like you can have a lot of fun. We have lots of fun, but there's no play. And I will tell you for the record, I went and got the stinking stuff to do that juice because there was no way I was going to come back and tell her I didn't. So she keeps this princess in line. I want to point that out.
You're hard to rope in sometimes. You do the same for me, girl.
Well, I definitely know I'm hard to rope in. I am definitely that person. But, in all seriousness, I appreciate what you do for me and for so many others with the strategy and accountability in particular. You are definitely a strategist. You are definitely an accountability coach, but you are so much more. It's like that just gives a description of a tiny little bit of what all you do for me in particular. You have amazing ideas and you have amazing ways of implementing them. And you are all about that implementation. There is no playing around. It's implement or die is what I feel like.
Implementation is everything. You can learn everything in the world there is to learn, but if you're not implementing things, it's almost a waste of the learn. So to me, implementation is key for sure.
Well, I appreciate all you have done for me in that way. And I want to say the fact that you completed Collaboration 101 and you did such a great job of helping everyone else complete it as well is just amazing to me to watch everyone grow. But I would love your opinion because you are so amazing already in business. You aren't coming in as a newbie. You are coming in as someone established. So I would love to know what you learned in Collaboration 101.
Oh, so many things. So first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for creating Collaboration 101. I think this is so important, whether you're a brand new business entrepreneur or if you have been in the business for years. I think that it absolutely offers on the level that each individual needs exactly what they need at the time. So for me in particular, I learned exactly what crystal clear what a collaboration was. So we all have, collaboration's a word that is put out there so much, and there's so many versions of what people think is collaboration. And so for me, the don't do's were actually one of the most amazing things. Also really learning how to differentiate something like a collaboration versus something like a joint venture. So most people would call all of that a collaboration, but it's truly not. And so you really gave clear definition of what that collaboration was. Another big thing in that group is how many amazing people you meet. It is full of so many motivational people that inspire you. You may end up collaborating with them. I know that I did. That for me is the most valuable part of this group. Everything else is amazing, but the people and what they bring is so valuable.
Well, I love what you said about that you did the class, and as a class you collaborated, but you also had collaborations with some of your classmates outside the class. And to me, that makes me feel like a proud mama hen, because you guys got the concept and can now do it on your own. Like, it's empowering and not just, okay, you got to come and follow me forever so that you can keep doing this. It's a thing of you all are out doing your own collaborations because you now know how.
Absolutely. And it's a very, very strong collaboration when you take 2 people, 4 people, how many ever from a collaboration class that A, know what a true collaboration is, and B, you have a plan. The plan that you create in collaboration class is phenomenal. There is no questions. There is no ifs, ands, or buts, because they're all taken care of. Right from, the idea to who does what, to right through into the breakup plan. And don't get scared for anyone who's watching and is like, what? Everyone's breaking up? But, it just goes through every step of what could happen in a collaboration and how you handle it with grace, and to make sure that you can continue on with having, being on an amicable level. So it is, honestly, the plan was also very amazing. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for saying all that, because I will say you already have it going on in your business. You have helped a lot of people get from where they were stuck into like crazy momentum. And one of your secret sauce, which I love it when you coach me, because I do things that I go to the grocery store that night instead of, Monday. But in the business side of it, it also is something that's very important. And I would love to hear a little bit more about what you think of accountability. Like, we're shifting gears a little bit, because I don't want this to be all about my class. I want to talk about you, because I am so proud that you are doing what you're doing in the world. And now you can add collaboration to that. But you already are doing such amazing things. So accountability is one of your superpowers. Will you tell us more about that? And then I'll give more stories, I'm sure.
Well, first of all, if you're going to call it a superpower, I actually feel that I need something that says accountability coach in a cape form. I know you're telling a story earlier about capes, and I'm like, oh, that would work. Yeah, so, with anything in life, and business included, accountability really does lead you to success. So, whether it's you're implementing a new program that you've created, or perhaps you need accountability for your goals that you've created for your business, it all comes down to we can't ride like the Lone Ranger. We need somebody that is going to hold us accountable. And it doesn't mean that it's going to always be about, go get your juice and you have to juice today. You don't have to do anything, but it's, that accountability, and you want you want to be able to go to that person and say, look what I did. And, I'm not just accountability. It's also about the cheering them on after too, and celebrating and enjoying the moment, because so many people will make an accomplishment, but then they just move on to the next goal rather than, having a little happy dance or whatever you do. But, having somebody being a cheerleader and holding you accountable is amazing. I mean, I know that you've done so many great things for me, and you are my accountability partner as well. So you holding me accountable, if I'm not really up to doing something one day, and I know that I'm accountable to you to say, hey, I got X, Y, and Z done, I'm going to do it, even if I'm not really up to it.
Well, and I think, for people to understand almost the formula for what you do is that it starts with strategy, it goes into accountability, and then it turns into celebration.
That's right.
When you have the right plan in place and the right strategy, then it's easier to be accountable because you know what the plan is, you know what the steps are. And then the outcome is you actually get to celebrate with someone as amazing as Christie because you have done the process. Like you have gone through this process, and sometimes it's, short wins, sometimes it's long wins. And I will tell you, you encouraged me to do this class. You have encouraged me along the way. And I hope you know what that means to me, because of all the classes I have taught, and I have taught hundreds and hundreds of classes, I think this is my favorite. I think this has been the most sweet spot for me in my whole entire life. And that's crazy, because how does that work? How does it work after you've done it for a while and then now all of a sudden this is a sweet spot? I mean, it really is.
This is where the proof comes out. This is where the passion sets on fire, because your passion truly is collaboration, and you really are an expert. I would scream that from the rooftops, that you are an expert at collaboration. And so watching you from the creation of this course right to the end and finishing the class it's been really amazing to watch, because your eyes light up. You are so excited when you get on lives. It is watching your plan come to fruition, and you're celebrating, and I am so excited that I get to celebrate with you. So your passion just shines out with collaboration.
Well, thank you, because that's a good example for everyone listening how she does. She is no play in the excuses department. You can have no excuses, but she's also right there with you to celebrate and to let you know what you're doing that's the right thing. And I think that's a huge thing when we're entrepreneurs, is we think that we can go it alone. And that's probably one of the biggest lies or myths that there are, is that you can be a self-made business owner or a self-made whatever. It's just not true.
No, you definitely need people along the way, and there will be people that come in and out, and some that stay the long haul, and they're all equally important. And absolutely, there is never doing success by yourself. Success does not include I had to think about that in my head. Is it I had to spell it? That was silly before I said that. Oh my goodness. But it comes, everything that you celebrate at the end comes back to, you do need a plan. You need to strategize. You need to come up with a plan, and you need to break that up in what you would say simple princess terms, right? So you need to break it down into simple steps that are, that you can have wins on the daily, that it's not waiting 6 months before you can celebrate a win. So if you break it up into, I don't know, let's just say one plan has 40 steps, that means you get 40 celebrations. That's exciting.
I love that. And something else that is cool working with you, that people need to know, if they're feeling intimidated, or they're feeling like they don't know what the unknown is, or that's where strategy actually is such an amazing process, because when you brainstorm in order to get the strategy put in place, there's always a better way, it seems like. Like, we're so close to whatever it is that we're wanting. I feel
Yes.
like we miss a lot of things unless we have someone on the outside of us
Right.
that can see the big picture and say, okay, well, yes, that will work, but what if you do this and then you get all this other outcome for the same effort?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%, that you have to really look at everything. And then, I don't know how to put that, but yeah, I do agree 100% with you. Sorry, got lost in my thought there and it did not come out words. I do that a lot.
Love it. Well, here's the truth of the matter, and I'm going to just like tell the truth for her. And that is, she's always so many steps ahead and so like intentional and on purpose about the strategy part that can get her tripped up in just having a conversation on a Facebook Live.
Oh my goodness, all the time.
I get tickled because I know how you are, and I know whenever you get tripped up, I know there's something brewing in the background that I better be careful.
Yes. Okay, I'm going back to the brainstorming for a sec. Okay, I'm gonna take a step back here. So when you're brainstorming with somebody, so we come in with the idea, we've been thinking about it for some time now. So, whether it be you're laying in bed at 2 a.m, you're coming up with ideas and you're ready to go the next morning. If you sit down and strategize with somebody, they're now bringing in the perspective of, that's amazing. What if you added this? Or, hey, what if we just changed it a tiny bit and, it's going in this direction now? So all those things. And I love strategizing with people because it's back and forth. And you know what? 90% of it gets to go to the next idea, but that 10% you're left with is like super magical.
And when you get like honed in on something, you actually can make it happen. You can implement something if it's clear. I think that's the thing that most people do, is they try to implement muddy stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's important to say, there's a difference between messy and muddy. So if you're not clear what you want as your final goal, then you need to keep digging and keep strategizing until you're clear. But doing something messy, meaning it's not perfect, but you can do it, those are two totally different things. So I just wanted to sort of bring that up, because muddy is really hard to implement. You do need to really have clarity of your goals, what you want to implement, and that final goal. So if you're implementing 5 things to get that final goal, you do need to have clarity about every single step along the way. But it doesn't need to be perfect. So you need to be clear, but it can be messy.
Well, and a good example of that, honestly, is the way that this class came about. It was way messier than what I wanted it to be, but I've learned probably more than everybody in the group put together, because I learned how to do something I had not done in this way before. I had not taught it in this particular way.
Right.
And what an amazing thing when you co-create because you're willing to be messy. Everyone in this class that's like graduating has participated in making this class absolutely phenomenal. And I'm so grateful for that. Like, I'm grateful for the co-creating of it, because the message was clear, but the messy was still there. So I love that you differentiate. And that's a superpower Christie has also, is cutting through the baloney. I'll just say it that way. Cutting through the nonsense of because we get too close to something. If you dream of something over a period of time, especially, then you get muddier and muddier if you don't get it out. Like, if you don't actually take it out of the inside of you and look at it. And I think that's one of the things that Christie's so amazing about, is she's not judgmental, and she's not hard on you because she needs somebody to be mean to. it's she wants you to succeed. And so when she sees a way for you to succeed and you're giving your own self excuses and playing small, then she does not put up with that really. And it's not like she's in Canada, and it's not like she comes down here to Texas and like spanks me if I don't do what I'm supposed to do. But just the fact that she is, she's on a very high level, and I respect her and I respect her opinion, makes me want to live up to that, makes me want to implement with no excuses. Because I can tell you, we all make excuses, and we all make our plan with excuses in there, built in. And I think that's the strategy part, is all of a sudden all your excuses are pulled off there, and it's really simple how to implement. Instead of going this long, complicated way to implement your plan, you actually have a clear path.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know me, I'm like no excuse girl until it comes to my own workouts. Then I've got all kinds of excuses. And in business, really, excuses will get you nowhere, right? It's the fibs we tell ourselves because no one else is believing the excuses. It's really what we tell ourselves to either give ourselves extra time, to take the muddy waters and be like, oh, well, they're just muddy, instead of, and when you have somebody coming in, whether it be myself or you, Kim, or somebody else, when you have somebody else from a third party perspective looking in, and it really clears up those waters, and it takes those excuses and throws them the wayside where they belong.
Yeah. And you have the choice of whether you take those excuses or you get rid of them. And that's really where there's like this fine line of, do you really want to do what you're saying you want to do? Because I've had instances in my life where I wish I had known you back then, because I've done things that were not pretty. And it's because I didn't flesh them out. It's because I didn't have a strategy. I just went, headlong into something, and then realized, oh, wait a minute, that's not even what I thought it was. That's not right. Even what I bought into what someone else showed me that it was.
Right.
I didn't see the real picture. And so I think that's another part that you do for everyone you work with, is you help them be on the right plan, get clarity, get the things done that they need to do. Because you know what? We're all coming from different places. Some of us need to start a business completely. Some of us have one and have had one for a long time. And it doesn't really matter where on that road you are. If you don't have an accountability coach and you don't have someone who's willing to actually, on a calendar, that's the thing, on a calendar, set up a strategic time to go back and revisit that plan, then you are wasting a lot more time than it ever costs to have a coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a coach, I invest in coaches. It is really a magical thing when you have somebody that is invested in you, B, your personal cheerleader, and C, helps you get through the muddy parts. And going back to the excuses part, if you're making so many excuses, you do have to revisit, is this not maybe something I want to do? Because you don't have to. Just because you had a thought or you had an idea and you start fleshing it out and it doesn't end up being something that you are invested in and have passion. I've had many of those. Believe me, many of those. And I even get halfway through, and then you have to really say, is it worth investing the time, or do I just need to change my path, right? So a lot of time excuses isn't because, we're bad people and making excuses. You have to look at why the excuses are there, right? Or maybe it's because you just really feel stuck and you don't know how to get out. And that strategy session with somebody else will absolutely help you get out of that mud, help you get unstuck, as I would say. Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I love what you've done for my business. I love what you've done for me personally, because I feel like you are such a big part of my success and a big part of even this class's success, because you went all in. Like you were a participant in the class, you were a student in the class, but you went all in, even though your life was full. Like, you already had your plate completely full, but you went in and did the class, and I feel very blessed to have you as a coach, and I feel very blessed to have you as a graduate of this class.
Oh my goodness, right now I'm practicing like not flushing and getting all red, and you and taking all of these compliments with grace. Thank you. You know what? You are so inspirational, not just to me, but I know for everybody in that class and really anybody that encounters you.
Well, thank you. And thank you for being on the Collaboration Summit today with me. That like means a lot to me too, because I want to take you to the world. If you're out there and you're listening and you are struggling in really any way in your business, I'm going to suggest accountability is the cure. And I'm going to suggest that strategy is the other part of that cure. So if you need a strategy session, if you need someone to help you walk through the process, someone to celebrate with you, and when you get through the process, no matter how small the win or how big the win, Christie Garcia of Sparkle Your Biz is highly recommended by this princess. So
thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Collaboration Summit. This was session number 3. We will be back at noon Central Standard Time for the next session. I would love to have you come back and join us, and be sure and contact Christie. Contact us if you want to get connected to Christie. Whatever we can do to help you create sexy businesses for sexy lives, that's what the Collaboration Summit and our businesses are all about. Love you guys.